All right, salutations and greetings. And I wanted to dig a little deeper into what's going on with Amberlynn right now, right? And how it affects everybody else, right? This is very important. Now, there's some things that we don't 100% know for sure why she was banned, right? We assume it was content because people mass reporting you, that won't get you banned. That's the truth. It's all interaction, and YouTube doesn't give a damn, right? Being controversial, that's a good sign for them. So hitting thumbs down and complaining about shit, that doesn't really have the impact that people think that it does. Just allows mad people to express something, right? So typically, based on the timeline of this, this has got to be like what happened was the threshold, right, for content shifted. And that happens all the time. Like, it's been happening as they become progressively more corporate, more mainstream. They have to get all that weird stuff out of there. That's just what it was.
That is correct.
So each stage means a house cleansing, right? So you get rid of all the content that falls in this category or below this threshold now. That's actually what happened. This is why her content got banned. So if your channel is content made from her content, what does that make your content? It makes it also now outside of that threshold. Derivative content is 100% dependent on the original. If the original is restricted, then the derivative content becomes legally and algorithmically, most important, unstable. That makes total sense. You're often like someone like Jordy, you're just playing her videos. You're watching her videos. So if you're playing her content, if the content that you're playing, your source is now algorithmically being banned, what does that mean ultimately for you?
Wow! Caught him with the front.
Now, YouTube always kind of filters on the unsafe material. They always flag kind of material as unsafe. This wasn't random. This is how they've been making policy decisions. So if the source failed the policy checks, then the reactors should not in any way assume any type of immunity. That doesn't make any sense. That's not being realistic about it, right? And the algorithm, now this is the part that's really important, and all these content creators are going to understand this immediately.
Heads up, massa coming!
Because the algorithmic association is the realest thing ever, right? That's what they leveraged, right? They're smart enough to understand. They leverage their success by tying it to her algorithms, to the algorithms of Girl World, right?
Did you just curse me?
As Girl World, as each part of Girl World got bigger, they also got bigger. So it created an incentive for them to genuinely root for each other, right? You would think the content creators would be more in competition with each other, but each content creator actually strengthens it. And the better that another, Jordy and Mr. Snowflake have a reason to celebrate each other's success, because it meant they were growing stronger. His influence is growing stronger. It brings the entire kind of ecosystem with it. I make it a little bit strong. So it was a symbiotic relationship between all these different levels of content creators, right? And that's really what it is. So when you're hinging it on high risk stuff, you are all clustered together. So on YouTube, they're already clustering your content. Your content is clustered with Amberlynn's content. That's how you were making money. That's how you're getting followers. That's how you, as Amberverse subscribers or Girl World consumers or fans, or however you want to word it, that's why you always see their content. You see, you start showing that you like this kind of content. This content is cool, and it shows you other people that make similar content. And that's probably how most of you guys found the other content creators, through that association. Sometimes they will directly tag each other, right? Like, Mr. Snowflake might tag, Jordy in his stuff, right? And vice versa. And it is a friendly gesture back and forth. It's totally good intent. Hey, I see you, you see me, you shining, I shine a little bit brighter because, we shining together, which is kind of beautiful, actually shining together, but it gets dirty because it's all under hate. So the ecosystem, it's grounded in tags like thumbnails, titles. You see that, like I pointed that out, that they were using similar titles, similar keywords and subjects. And that's the real power. It's the sheer brilliance understanding how the algorithm works and leveraging the algorithm. But there's a backside to the algorithm, and here's what the downside of the algorithm is. Algorithm don't care about your intent. It doesn't. The algorithm lacks what we like to call nuance or a heart, right? It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're criticizing. If they took something that she did and they said that's bad to show it, it doesn't matter that you are criticizing it. It doesn't matter that you are reacting to it.
I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I gotta
works and leveraging the algorithm, but there's a backside to the algorithm, and here's what the downside of the algorithm is. Algorithm don't care about your intent. It doesn't. The algorithm lacks what we like to call nuance or a heart, right? It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're criticizing. If they took something that she did and they said that's bad to show it, it doesn't matter that you are criticizing it. It doesn't matter that you are reacting to it. All that matters to them is this video contains banned source content. That's it, right? And a content ban, it's not a single action. It's a smoke alarm because it means that the category is now volatile and unsafe. And YouTube investigates patterns. It doesn't investigate individuals. That's the important thing for you to understand. So now you're kind of upstream from the ban, right? You're upstream, but the ban shifts, right? Because it's the same narrative. If you're using the same footage, the same content, that upstream component becomes, we're going to go further down the rabbit hole. Entire channels on banned material, right? But no company on earth lets you make money from content that has already been declared unsafe. And that's where the collapse is. Like YouTube, if you go way back in the days, it's like the Wild West, man. It was crazy out here, the stuff that they could put on YouTube. Because whoever was advertising on it, they didn't really give a damn, right? It was smaller advertisers who were more willing to take risks to get exposure, to get into more eyes, right? Nowadays, what this ban represents is that they're shifting as we're getting larger advertisers. Larger advertisers don't like risk. They like to be able to bank like, okay, our content is across the board going to be this. We're not going to individually watch every single ad that your ad appears in, not every single post, but we have to lay down a framework that this is our base. And as an advertiser, if you're Chevy or if you're Disney or if you're, Manchester United, I don't think they have to advertise. But if you were a large advertiser like that, then that means that, you have to have those insurances that you're putting your money into a clean product. That's it. So if the entire ecosystem depends on one player, like she's like the star player. This was the star player, right? And again, I'm going to imagine your team. Imagine when the Cleveland Cavaliers, before LeBron and after LeBron, right? Before LeBron and after LeBron. Like when your star leaves the court, the entire ecosystem shifts. So now that center of gravity, that center for the double teams, that's not there anymore. So what we're seeing right now, this is not this is just the first shot. This is how it starts. This is how, if you start a cleanup process, you work in this fashion. Below the bar, remove it. Anything associated is now below the bar. It's going to have to go. So I just kind of wanted to add that insight to it. Again, I know this is a stressful time because you're about to lose it right now, So
In 5 minutes, I'll tear that whole goddamn building down.
I still love your bitch ass. It's still going to work out. You're going to be all right. Deep breath. You just kind of have to get away from the hate economy because at the end, nobody likes it.